Right. So this is the um, comic reviews. So these are usually books I do not own, but one of them I do. You know, I wouldn't say like every time, but I would say the last probably like 5 comic reviews, they've all been ones from my local library. But I tried to do starting, I want to say at least starting last year, was to sprinkle in some of my books, and usually I could do it with like, because some of these, a lot of these books were like 6 issues or like 6 to 8 issues, let's say, or no, I would say 5 to 7 issues, and I'd have like 2 or 3 that were 4 issues. So what I would do is, because I wanted to still be the same number, I would take out, when I finished those 4 issue series, I would take that out obviously, and then I'd put in 3 of my own or 2 of my own. But I have not been able to do that because I've had a lot of longer books, like Spider-Man. One of the books obviously you'll be seeing is a Spider-Man book, and that was a very thick book. It was a complete collection. Those are thick books, like almost 500 pages. So to finish it for today, I had to read at least 2 per day. But without further ado, let's get into it. First one up is Seconds by Brian Lee O'Malley. This was the one that I wouldn't say hesitant to read. I did want to read it because it's Brian Lee O'Malley. Really like his writing. Haven't read anything by him I haven't liked, actually. Everything I've read by him has been outstanding or underrated. Outstanding in Scott Pilgrim's case and underrated in Snot Girl's case. But this was one that it's how thick it is. It's over 300 pages, and this is a OGN, which is all in one. They read it all in one. So I wanted to read it all in one sitting. Oh, technically, doesn't this come with chapters, I thought? Nope. It doesn't even come with chapters, so I couldn't read it by chapter even. That's what I used to do. But this one, it wasn't as... It was a lot of like pages like this, where it was... Yeah, you had like a page like that. It was dialogue heavy. Then you had pages like that weren't as dialogue heavy. And the margins were like kind of like this. So you had plenty of room, you know. It almost seemed like they cut off part of the book, kind of thing. This was supposed to be a smaller book or something like that. I know comics like that in general too, but still. But this one I did like. I thought it was pretty good. It was not bad. I just kind of think that there's another one here. Obviously, Scott Pilgrim is the goat, but there's another one here. There's three Brian Lee O'Malley books that I read. This one was probably in the middle. I didn't think it was. I didn't even say middle. I liked it enough. I would probably consider reading it again. I do recommend it, obviously, but it wasn't like super outstanding or anything like that. Lost at Sea was pretty damn good, and this is the Brian Lee O'Malley that I like. Something that is somewhat relatively long. You know, it's 200 pages. That's a good amount. But it felt like it was 100 pages. It felt like not even that. It was so fast paced and so damn good. Like this was Seconds in this were definitely his most personal books, but this felt a lot more personal than Seconds did. And Seconds was too. Like honestly, them more and more I'm remembering about Seconds because it was somewhat forgettable. I wouldn't say I would not use the word forgettable. I'd say somewhat forgettable. But this one was very memorable. And this one I would definitely consider reading again. But the magnum opus of Brian Lee O'Malley's career has been Scott Pilgrim. This is book 2. I have read this entire series before, so I can say it's magnum opus, but this has been a joy to reread. Absolutely do I recommend the movie and the comic. Can't say anything about the Netflix show. I've heard mixed things about the Netflix show, but mostly positive. Jonah in the Impossible Monsters was another really damn good, fast-paced comic. This probably, if I read all 4 issues in one sitting, which I probably might as well do, this would probably take me like an hour to read. It's that fast-paced. And it's a pretty damn good story, too. Like, it's one of those books that, yeah, it's for kids, but it tells its story. Like, there's a lot of connections you can make to books from the comic series for older audiences. Like Walking Dead, you can make some comparisons to. It is, without giving too much away, it's not zombies, but it does have that kind of like survival, without giving too much away, it does have that kind of survival plotline to it. So there's a lot of like comparisons you can make. Oh, this kind of reminds me of this character from Walking Dead, or any other survival horror. That's not horror. It's not horror, but any other survival type story. And it's for all ages too, so you can get a copy for you and your kid. Probably for you to get the recent deluxe edition, or the kid to get that edition. Scurry by Max Smith. This has been just an absolute joy to reread. This was so damn good, and again, like with Jonah, it's an all ages type book. But this is more older audiences. It would still be PG, but it'd be a harder PG than with Jonah. This would probably be like PG thematic elements, definitely some language, or some language in it, and then like some scary elements. So it definitely does. It's a pretty damn intense kids book, but it's really interesting. This is the kind of kids comic that needs to. We need more of this and less of Dogman. Dogman, make Dogman Dav Pickley. He can make Dogman as much as he wants, but I don't think we need 18 different versions of Dogman written by different writers. Like, oh, we have the. I've never read Dogman, so I can't say for certain. I'm going based off what Captain Underpants was. Oh, we need a whole lot of toilet humor, because that's what the kids like. We need to make them laugh. And it's like, no, this one can actually... There was a couple jokes. This one can, like, tell a story and actually challenge the kid. And, Dogman, again, I'm not going to say Dogman's a terrible book or anything like that. No, I have not read it. I remember really liking Captain Underpants when I grew up with that. I remember really liking it. I remember in 5th grade... My friend brought over his entire box set of the Captain Underpants books, and that was like the best day ever. So definitely can understand why people like those kinds of books. I'm just saying this one is like, we need more of this. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm sure there is more of that. Lois Lane and the Friendship Challenge, not as bad as I thought it'd be, but nothing I'd read again. It's good for the target audience though. It's a perfect book for the target audience. Harley Quinn Breaking Glass. Like the first time, I liked it a lot. I think that was a couple of things, that would piss me off, kind of thing. But it's like if you ignore it, and you don't think of it as it being this way, or instead being that way, which it most likely is that way, without giving too much away. I don't want to get into it, but there's a few comments in here that would piss off someone who's like very, like they're very okay with it's like a political kind of opinion kind of thing, and not like presidency politics, but politics and general politics, like gender norms and like that, without giving too much away. And I do think it kind of does preach a bit, but I wouldn't say it does, like to the extent where it needs to be on like all these YouTube videos of, oh, this book says this and no, I'm so mad. No, that would probably be something I would have done a few years ago, but now that I've grown and evolved, I guess you could say, I found a lot more to enjoy about this book. And again, I liked it the first time I read it. It was just kind of that middle ground right there. I thought it was mid, if anything. Wonder Woman, John Byrne. I am kind of glad they didn't have the 3rd volume of the series, and they only had the first 2, because this was kind of a chore to read. It was fast paced enough, so I didn't completely hate it. That is one thing I will always give a book, but this is a great example of, just because your book is fast paced, especially for a book of this era, does not mean I'm going to get a free pass all the time. And it's a good example of that. I would still say, if you want something fast paced, you want Wonder Woman John Byrne, just curious like I was, I would say at least check out the first volume. Not a bad idea, because it also is $10. This was list price, it's $10, so you can't go wrong. Now, Wonder Woman Brian Azzarello is fast-paced and a damn good run. Still my favorite Wonder Woman run of all time. Do not need to say any more than that. Batman Tom King Volume 1. I like this one. I don't like Tom King as a person. As a writer, I'm kind of in the middle with. But this is one I will always say I liked. So far, at least. Heroes in Crisis is one that I'm very mixed about. I think a lot of why I like this... I wouldn't say like this, but I think a lot of why I keep coming back to this series is because of the impeccable artwork. What's a good one to show? So I want to like really drive the point home. I think that's pretty good. It's the artwork is done by Clay Mann, and Clay Mann, if he hasn't already, needs to do something for Image Comics, because that would be like or any independent publisher, but specifically Image Comics, who have been falling like crazy this past few years. Because his artwork is absolutely insane. It needs to be done. He needs to do more than just superheroes fare with it. I actually don't know where he's been recently. Like, not that he's done missing, obviously, but like I haven't seen like, oh, Clayman's on this book recently. Of course, I haven't been keeping up with comics as much, but I kind of feel like it'd still be something I would know about, you know, because I've kept up with comic culture, just not comic books themselves. You know, I couldn't tell you what got released, except for Ghost Machine, which just released this week, but I could tell you what's good and what's not, you know. For the most part. That's come out in the past few months, at least. Final Crisis was a bit of a mess, but a pretty welcome mess. I thought it was pretty interesting, at least. Apparently, I really liked it the first time, because I remember liking it a lot more the first time. They did it the most recent time. I think a lot of it was because this book does kind of overstay its welcome. Each issue is 33 pages, and usually a comic is 23 pages or less. Like, I would say 20 to 23 pages. 20 to 25, let's say. But averages out at 23. And you feel every page of this comic at times. And when it's 33 pages, yeah, that's going to be a lot. So I do think this book kind of overstays its welcome. I think this should have been like with Heroes in Crisis. This should have been a 9-issue limited series, not a 7-issue limited series. And I think that would have also helped with padding, because it paced, not padding, the pacing too. I think this book does suffer from some pacing issues, but it's still, if you really, really like Grant Morrison like I do, you will not be disappointed by this. Bart Simpson. Now this book has a lot of, you can tell right here, I'm not going to show the other ones, it's just kind of gross. I had to wash my hands after reading this book. Because there's a lot, you can tell this is held by children's hands. Because there's a lot, like if you know how children are, yep, that's exactly what was in this book. Not everything, but most of it. And I'm talking like, you know, stains and shit. But this was very juvenile. Extremely juvenile. I don't even know why this is in their teen section. This should be in their junior section. Because this, honestly, there's nothing in here that's inappropriate for a kid. This is like Simpsons Saturday morning cartoon, honestly. And like a lot of Saturday morning cartoons, it does not hold up as well as I thought it did. The Simpsons comics in general, I kind of have changed my mind. Not completely changed my mind. There are certain like ones that I still like, really liked. I do plan on rereading the Futurama crossover pretty soon here. But some of them, I still will keep my Simpsons comics. If I have to get rid of some of my comics, the Simpsons comics are the first to go. But this one was extremely juvenile. This was kind of like what I always thought Simpsons comics would be, I guess. Or like when I hear that they're making a comic off of a TV show, and it was back in the day, that's what I would think of, I guess I was trying to say. But this was just not all that great. It kind of reminded me of Modern Simpsons. It was a Modern Simpsons comic book, basically. Live, and not any of the good Hidden Gems episodes either. No, the ones that were just like really boring and you're waiting for it to be done, and 30 minutes feels like an hour. Live Wire Volume 1, I still did like this book. I think this is, if Vita Ayala tried this hard as I can't say if she does or doesn't, but if she tried as hard as she does, she would not be as hated as she is. And if she was, you know, like, she didn't, like, try and fight people online. That too. But then she'd be a lot more well-received. Lumberjanes Volume 1 by Grace... I don't know what I'm saying by. Lumberjanes Volume 1, a welcome surprise. Honestly, I'm looking at all these books, and this just might be my pick of the week. This was an incredible surprise. I was thoroughly surprised with this book. I was thoroughly surprised with this book. I recommend it to everybody. To at least check out the first volume. It's free if you have a Prime subscription and a Kindle. There you go. Reggie and Me, this is the book that I owned, and I dug this one. It kind of like it changed my how I feel about Reggie as a character. And it's one of those books that, yeah, he hasn't completely changed. I like that. They didn't try to get too preachy, like, oh, it's a Reggie Appreciation Society kind of book. But no, it does show the the more humane side of Reggie's character. That's what I always appreciate in a comic series, in literature in general, whether it be movies, books, comics, video games. If you can make a jerk character sympathetic and make it work, that is absolutely outstanding. And Tom DeFalco goes above and beyond with this one. Archie by Mark Waid has been one of those books, like with Scully, Walking Dead spoilers, and many others, that going back to it has been like visiting an old friend and just reminiscing on the good old days. And there's things that you forgot about, like you're like, oh, there's things in this book that I forgot about. So I guess you could say, oh, it's like they remind you about something that happened way back when. You're like, oh yeah, remember that? It's all of that, just in any comic book form. This has been such a joy to come back to read, and I cannot wait to read the next volume. Star Wars Volume 7. This is the first and only volume that they have in my library, any library, of Kieran Gillen's run. That's a shame, because this is somehow better than Jason Aaron's run. And you guys know how, if you've been watching my channel, you guys know how I feel about Jason Aaron's run. And this is absolutely spectacular. Even better. Chewbacca was one of the better Star Wars miniseries written by a writer that I really like. The other one was the Mark Waid one, Princess Leia one I didn't like. The Marjorie Leo one was pretty mid, but this one has been a welcome surprise. This is probably up there with Jason Aaron and Kieran Gillen. I'd probably put it at my third best favorite Spider-Man. I'd probably put it at my third best Star Wars, Disney Star Wars, the revamped series of that, the Marvel Disney. I made a ranking video of all the Star Wars I plan on doing for May the 4th. But I'll read all the ones that they have for the Marvel Star Wars, when we were out at that time, like 2015 series. And I'll rank them all. This would be number 3. That's what I was trying to say. Valkyrie Jane Foster, Volume 2. Better than Volume 1. Still not my cup of tea at all. I wouldn't say cup of tea, like I don't like this kind of story. I do. But still did not grab me as much as anything else with Jason Aaron has done. Kind of shows that he's gone very far. Jesus. Kind of shows that he's gone very far downhill. Star-Lord, Legendary Star-Lord, Volume 1. A worthy book. Worthy of being in the same class as Bendis' Guardians. And yes, I know Bendis' Guardians not well received, especially from fans of the Abnett and Landing series, but I liked Landing of that series. But I liked Bendis' Guardians run. That's probably my I hate to say it, but it's my favorite Guardians book, and yes, I have read most of Abnett's run. I will be rereading that, though, pretty soon here. I'll be doing a whole Guardians, probably in May, honestly. I'll do like a whole sci-fi month. But here, yeah, Star-Lord. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, Volume 1. It's one I read before, and I liked a lot better than I did the first time. I really enjoyed this the first time. My main complaint was that Lunella is a very annoying character, and she still is, but I think knowing that that's who she is, and that's the kind of character she's written as, it wasn't as egregious as it was the first time. I wasn't expecting anything like that. I was expecting endearing, and I was expecting an endearing character, and I got an annoying, prissy kind of character. I think she's all that kind of thing. Mockingbird, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Wanted to read them all, wanted to read them both within the same week. And I'm glad I did, because this was kind of enjoyable. It wasn't as bad as people were saying it was. This is the only thing people were really pissed off about. I can understand. People on both sides did not like this cover. And I can completely understand that. I think comics can get really, really damn preachy, but that is a good example of judging a book based off its cover. Because inside is a pretty interesting mystery. Like with Man-Eaters, it's at least an interesting story that you can kind of discard all the preachiness of it. Because it's such a good mystery. It's a well-written mystery. I'm going to say such a well-written, but it's a well-written enough mystery that you excuse all of its faults. flaws. Still not like don't get me wrong. It's not like an 8 out of 10 book. It's still a 7 out of 10 type book. I'd read it again. And I would say to read it yourself, because it is kind of like one of those controversial books I think everyone needs to read, along with America. But it's not at all good. This is just kind of annoying. This is the kind of book that when people say, "Oh, the newest issue of this comic is really bad," and I'll read it. This is what I'm expecting it to be like, and usually it's not. Usually it's not as bad as this. I think this is the most egregious example of modern comics going downhill. That and Scroll Girl, but Scroll Girl more for the comedy. It's just the. I think that's kind of the worst kind of comic. It's just terrible jokes and it's boring, honestly. I will consider. I have considered going back and rereading Scroll Girl, but I don't know. Do I? Captain Marvel Volume 1 by Collector DeConnick, and like with last time, I still enjoy this book. So far, I actually enjoyed this book. This is why I was not hesitant at all to get Bitch Planet and Pretty Deadly by Collector DeConnick. So Volume 3 of that, but Pretty Deadly, still has that blemish that I don't know why I care so much about. It's a little bent. Like, it's basically like, I can't show it here. None of these are bent. But it's not even like a bend that's like terrible. It's like a little bend that, ooh, if I'm like looking at it like really closely, I've noticed. But honestly, like, I wouldn't otherwise. All New X-Men Volume 1 by Dennis Hopeless. I really wish they had the rest of the series because this is a damn good series. Worthy being a follow-up to Bendis' All New X-Men. The only thing I didn't like about that All New X-Men series was the last issue. I kind of felt like it was a cop-out in certain... looking too much away. I think it was a bit of a cop-out. But once you get used to a big change, it's still enjoyable. You know, it's not the character that it happens to was a character I was really invested in. No, it was just kind of felt like they did that. They kind of pulled it out of their ass. I think that's not too controversial to say. It's the Iceman. I think turning Iceman gay, they kind of pulled it out of their ass. But honestly, like I said before, the more and more I think about it, the more and more I remember there's a Family Guy cutaway where Iceman is heavily implied that he's gay. In a Family Guy cutaway, and it's kind of funny. I will say if Bendis secretly, he would never admit it, but secretly deep down he did it because of that reason, then I wouldn't care at all. I'd be like, all right, you get a free pass. And it's Iceman. Come on, man. Secret Adventures Volume 1. Still damn good. This is really damn good. If you are curious about Ailes Cott's rating, and you are, then I guess to pick this one up. I kind of hesitated at that. But if you want a good espionage thriller that reminds you of Hawkeye by Matt Fraction, pick this up. Digging by Dark Wolverine. Digging Dark Wolverine was a pretty damn good book. It was Volume 5, so I was like, wait, why are we here? But that's what happens when comics don't label it. Or at least it's not labeled on here. But still enjoyable. Nevertheless, I would consider picking up the rest of the series if they had it, but I don't think they do. And what's nice is that the previous 4 volumes, at least the first volume, it's written by Marjorie Liu. We don't know who she wrote Monstrous and Night Eaters. Both are like outstanding comics. I wouldn't say my favorite because I haven't finished Monstrous. But I did read the first volume of Night Eaters. I could put in volume 2, by the way. Let me see if I can put that in. I'm checking a second here. Black Widow by Devin Grayson and Greg Rucka. He co-writes with Devin Grayson on the second series. So damn good. This is like the hidden gem of that. It's like going to your local comic shop and they have back issues. This is an older book. They have back issues, and you find this series, and they have all 6 issues of this miniseries. There's 2 miniseries, so 3 issues each, with 6 total. And you find it, and you're like, oh yeah, let's pick this up. It's cheap enough. Might not be any good, but I only paid $6 for all 6 issues, so why not? And you go home, you read it, and you find out it's absolutely incredible. It's a diamond in the rough, but not anything that I think would be worth too much, except for the first issue, which has the first appearance, I believe, of Yelena Belova. But even that has gone so dips in quality as far as what's worth, as far as value goes. speculative market because I'm not doing anything with Elena anymore. Her story has been told, from what I've been told. Because she has made an appearance as Hawkeye. Deadpool by Kelly Thompson. This was one that I liked enough. You know, it's not super funny. None of the jokes really, like, I thought they're all that great. But none of them fall, like, so flat I was cringing. Like, I think it was only, like, a couple jokes. But that's about it. Other than that, the jokes are maybe a minor chuckle from me. Some of the fourth wall breaks are kind of funny. But other than that, I thought that the comedy wasn't too great, but everything else makes up for it. It's pretty interesting, especially as you go along. And I do like seeing King Deadpool. I wish they would. I kind of do wish they would not necessarily remake this, but have Jerry Duggan write a King Deadpool story, basically, or one of the. I don't want to say better writers. I do like Kelly Thompson's writing, but one of the writers that's gonna do something like that really knows Deadpool. There you go. A writer that, so Joe Kelly, basically, one that has been an OG Deadpool writer, one that everyone loves, and he can write King Deadpool, because he would do a good King Deadpool series. Annihilation Book 3, like with all the other Annihilations, good, but very, very deep. There's a lot to unpack with this book, and I got lost, but I still enjoy myself. Spider-Man Clone Saga Volume 2, a lot better than Volume 1. I think the only reason why I was slightly disappointed with Volume 1, because it was a reread, and I think it was because I just remembered the Spider-Man Lost Years, which was still one of my favorite Spider-Man comics of all time, and that was so damn good. I think I was just remembering that as being what Volume 1 was all about. Like, I got kind of darker Spider-Man, but I didn't mind it was darker Spider-Man because it does get lighter as it goes along. I knew that. So I didn't mind the dark for the light as far as Spider-Man went. But reading Volume 1, it was kind of like, well, there's a lot of stuff in here that I kind of forgot about. And it's not terrible, but it's not too great either. It's just kind of alright. But this one kind of does make up for it. Doesn't get as good as Lost Years, no, but it's still, like, it's enjoyable Spider-Man fair. Like, the Spider-Man that you know, basically. Marvel 1602, New World, and Fantastic Four, so like stick, S-T-I-C-K, because apparently it's how you spelled Fantastic back in 1602. This is not as good as Neil Gaiman's run, but that's saying a lot. But it's not as verbose, it's not as, like, deep. It's definitely a lot more like, it's Greg Pak and Peter David. They're more like mainstream comic writers, whereas Neil Gaiman is more like independent kind of publisher. Like he'll write something that seems more different, something that would be more in line with Dark Horse or Image Comics, but he's writing it for Marvel. Yes, Vertigo too, but I'm just trying to say for independent publishers at least. But this one, I still liked. I think it's one of those books that if you just have the question of what happens next, this answers all your questions. Most of the questions. Because there's still a Spider-Man series I need to read from 1602. Walking Dead would be my pick of the week every week if I did not include... If I included rereads as pick of the week, this would be pick of the week every single week, no matter what. This is so damn good. This is the definition of it being like going back and seeing an old friend. Because this is just absolutely spectacular. I am so damn tempted to buy this series myself after I finish it. My library has everything Walking Dead, except for one, which will be seen as a comic haul. Spoilers, it's a Brian K. Vaughan one he did for Walking Dead. But that's the only one they don't have. And only Walking Dead I haven't read except for Clementine yet. But I've been so tempted by this series myself. I might just do that. Might. It's a lot. It's not only is it the compendium, but it's a Clementine series, the Negan one, and then an Ebony actually. But it's compendium, there's 4 compendiums. And last but certainly not the least, Lady Killers. Read this now. This is just like, that's all I'm gonna say. If you like American Psycho, if you like serial killer kind of violent kind of books, you'll absolutely adore this book. I've read this 3 times. I've liked it every single time since. And this has been just so damn good. I heard something. I heard something. I thought it was coming from the book. I was like, what the hell? Why is the book making a sound? I guess just my fan like blowing on the book. I guess I don't know, but this is like a 10 out of 10 book without hesitation. Now I'm gonna go back through them all and give you my rating out of 10 because that's what I like to do. Pick of the week I would say would be Lumberjanes because I don't include rereads as pick of the weeks. And hopefully this coming week there's not a whole lot of rereads. I feel like especially the last week was a lot of rereads. Seconds I would give a 7 out of 10. Lost at Sea a 9 out of 10. Scott Pilgrim a 10 out of 10. Jonah an 8.5 out of 10. Scary a 9 out of 10. Lois Lane a 5 out of 10. Harley Quinn a 7 out of 10. Wonder Woman John Byrne a 6 out of 10. Brian Azzarello's Front in a 9.5 out of 10. Batman by Tom King an 8 out of 10. Nah, 7. 7 out of 10 Batman. 7.5. Let's say 7.5. 8 seems too high because I've probably given that to like Scott Snyder's run, his All-Star Batman run. Still have not finished his new 52 comic. I know I should do before Tom King's run, but so far so good. And because of how like popular that series is, I kind of already know what happens at the end at least, and pretty much all throughout. Heroes in Crisis a 6 out of 10, but Clayman's artwork goes like that makes up for like so much at 6 out of 10. Without that, it would probably be a 4 out of 10 just because of what they did with Wally West and what that means for comics. I'm not a huge fan of Wally West, and that's not a huge fan. I'm not super into Wally West. I was never like a huge Wally West fan because I was just never like. I never really read much of Wally West. Even Flash, I read a whole lot of the more I think about it. So it wasn't like a complete disservice in my eyes. I do want to go back on that and read that new 52 run though. That's good. What they didn't have? Oh, that was the I got lucky because it was a Robert Venditti run they didn't have. They had all of Bucalato's run, but not most of the follow-up series. They only had one volume of Robert Venditti, I believe. But yeah, I won't go back and read that again. Not this week. I have way too much this week to read, as you'll see for maybe Friday's video. And might be Friday. Because I'm going to check again, probably after I film this video, to make sure. Actually, no, wait, I want to do one final video for Omnibus Fridays. So either way, we'll have video tomorrow for Omnibus Friday, Omnibus Fridays. But then, what I'm trying to say is I'm getting books tonight, and then that video will be uploaded Saturday. Because this is being uploaded tonight. As a funny, it's not like, oh, I filmed this Wednesday. No, I filmed this on Thursday. It'll be uploaded on Thursday. Final Crisis, I would give a 6.5 out of 10. Bart Simpson, a 2 out of 10. I gotta put these back for so long. Oh, I did that. That's what I did. I shouldn't do that. Alright, so that will be that bio. Bart Simpson, a Livewire. Livewire, I would give a 7 out of 10. Lumberjanes, a 9.5 out of 10. It was like, and the comedy in it was really good too. That was one thing I forgot to mention. Was the comedy in it was something that I wouldn't think I would like. If you just told me that it's going to be a lot of these types of jokes, I'd probably drop the book immediately. But they do it in such a nice way that it's not too annoying. And honestly, I did laugh. It's so cute. It's a really cute book. It's written by Grace Ellis, who also wrote who also wrote Moonstruck, another book I thought was insanely cute. So it's one of those books that like I'm an apologist for it, not an apologist for it, because you never would thinking like if you went to like honestly if you went to my house right now and looked at my entire comic book collection, you would be surprised about how I felt about Lumberjanes and Moonstruck. You would think I just bought Moonstruck off a whim and then was like, oh yeah, I kind of want to get rid of that. No, I really enjoyed Moonstruck. Archie, and it's kind of funny because I think I would. Archie by Mark Waid, 9 out of 10. It's like a Jax Holmes thing. It's like, pretty good. You know, it's if you know Jax Holmes, you know what I was trying to do, but I kind of felt like doing it. Star Wars Volume 7, 9 out of 10. 9.5. Chewbacca, 8.5 out of 10. Valkyrie, Jane Foster, still a 6 out of 10. I'm gonna give Volume 1 a 5 out of 10. It's only 1 point above, but not much. But not like, no, it's not anything more than it's a 1 point above. Star Lord, Legendary Star Lord, 7.5 out of 10. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, 8 out of 10. Mockingbird, Volumes 1 and 2, both a 6 out of 10. America, 1 out of 10, honestly. Captain Marvel, 8 out of 10. That's Volume 1. X-Men, Volume 1, 8.5 out of 10. Or, sorry, no, 7.5 out of 10. It's 8.5 out of 10 for Secret Adventures, Volume 1. Digging Dark Wolverine, Volume 5. But Volume 1 for me, 7.5 out of 10. Maybe an 8 out of 10. Black Widow, yeah, I'd say 8 out of 10 for Dakin. Black Widow, 9 out of 10. Deadpool, 9.5 out of 10. Annihilation, 8 out of 10. Spider-Man, 7 out of 10. No, I go so, yeah, 7 out of 10. 7.5. Marvel 1602, 8.5 out of 10. And both Walking Dead and Lady Killer both get 10 out of 10. And that, as they say, is that. I really should, when I do, so I am planning on someday doing my one final video of all the books I have from Image Comics, my collection. I did plan on doing it in January with the books I'll be getting in January, you know, that kind of haul. Because I was kind of flip-flopped on what I wanted to get for January, but I decided to finally stick with what I wanted to get, what I didn't get for my birthday. So if you remember what I said, I believe I did say that, what I was going to get, I didn't get, that kind of thing. That video will be uploaded when I get the rest of the books, so hopefully soon. Hopefully by Tuesday, this coming Tuesday at the very latest. But no promises. But when that's uploaded, I probably will make it for the 14th of February. So even let's say all the books come in on Tuesday. The rest of the books come in on Tuesday. I do my comic haul, obviously. The Image Comics, my collection, that all the ones I really liked, or I was reviewing them all in general. I kind of do want that to be a Valentine's Day special. But then after that, yeah, in February, the ones I'm planning on getting, I already know I'm going to get for February. Honestly, pretty much past my birthday, too. Even in June kind of thing. And it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, if I can't get everything, let's split it up kind of thing. Like, even in May, like, I'm split between 2 sets of books, so, but in February, there are a bunch of books that I've read before that I would like to include for that video, but I don't know. I kind of would like to do it for February 14th. We'll see how I feel, because I do also, I'm also thinking of doing it at the end of the year. Every year, I'll do that no matter what, you know. I'll do a revamp every like, December 31st. I'll do a live stream, do a revamp. I'll always try and do Image Comics. It'll probably be like a series finale for this year, honestly, if anything, because I am planning on finally graduating from getting everything Image to getting everything with Vertigo or Dark Horse, so completing that at least. Maybe I'll do Dark Horse and Image, but it's kind of hard to do that, to do both. Unless I somehow miraculously by 2025, let's say next year, at this time, I have everything I wanted from Image Comics, and just, you know, Volume 2 of Sacrifice I gotta get, you know, just kind of like that, kind of like miscellaneous type shit. There's all I need to get left, and then I can get like Dark Horse books along with it. Maybe I'll do that too. I also probably have a job by then too, so I'll be able to have at least have some extra money in my pocket. But that, as they say, is that 39 minutes. Let's make it 40 minutes. So as of like right now, I know I kind of went to so far in the future, but as of right now, the next video will be on Last Fridays. That's what I'm uploading next. So probably filming the Saturday's video next. I still don't want to go through all that. I just have them all stacked. I'm pretty sure you saw all the omnibuses in my collection. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you did. I actually kind of missed a week anyways, technically, because I did Saturday instead of Friday. Um, if my iPad was fast enough, I could have uploaded it on Friday. Or if I remembered, but I didn't. My brain don't work. But that is that. So, and then Saturday's video will be the books I'll be reading for the next few weeks kind of video. And yeah, that'll be it. And then, of course, whenever the books come in, you'll get my second part. So you already saw part 1, Shut Off Saga and Paper Girls. The writer was Brian K. Vaughan, by the way. I just remember. I did show off the first. That was the writer I was talking about. I wanted to get like Saga, Paper Girls, like compendiums and hardcovers. I was gonna do that for Christmas, but then I couldn't because they dial it down a bit as far as money went. So I decided to like take that off and replace it with other books, and they broke even, kind of thing. But now I'll be getting the Brian K. Vaughan books plus a few extras. I add a few extra dollars, so you'll see some extra books. I'm trying this month and next month to try to finalize one of them I can't, but trying to finalize the books in my collection that I have read before from Image, that my library had, but now I want to own, which is pretty much everything Image Comics has to offer and my library has that I've read. There's a few ones I don't want to get, like, I'm not going to get just Kill and Be Killed, they're only Ed Brubaker books, because I want to get everything Ed Brubaker for Image Comics. That's going to be a long time coming. But we'll see. We'll deal with that when it comes to that. Probably Christmas, honestly. That'll probably be my, like, magnum opus, and I'll do my final, all the Image Comics I've read at the end of the year, and then that'll be the end of that. That's probably what I kind of should do, but I keep flip-flopping, even for Christmas, technically. And that should go to show to you guys how much I want just from Image Comics. Just one publisher, how much I need from them. Not want, need. And yeah, I know it's dumb to do the ones that the library has, save some money, get their copy, but there's so many of them that I really like. Like, even ones I still liked and enjoyed. You'll see, like, one controversial book, that I never owned. But it's one of those things, it's like, might as well own it. You know, if I liked it enough, if I hated it, absolutely hated it, I won't get it. But most of everything I've read from Image has been outstanding. I really have to think about something I've read from Image Comics I didn't like at all. Mother Madness from Emilia Clarke. That was the worst thing I've read from Image. And even that, I could get it myself. So, but that, as I say, is that. 42 minutes.